I'd like to welcome in now New Orleans City Council member for District E, Councilman Oliver Thomas. Councilman, thank you so much for your time. So we have most recently heard from investigators. At this point, it's about an hour ago. What was your biggest takeaway from that update that we got from federal investigators?
Well, I mean, it's the same as you guys report, right? We can't continue having misinformation, information that seems to be so sure one day, and then to be clarified, given different information on another day. One of the biggest frustrations has been kind of some unity here, right? Around press conferences, about who the spokespeople are, who's speaking. I think law enforcement people and people directly involved in this investigation, those with pertinent information, should probably be the only people talking about what's going on, what they've uncovered, what we can expect, and what they're doing to keep us safe. So I'm hoping that there's some unity of purpose with our state, local, federal officials, as well as elected officials. I'm really frustrated with hearing something one day and hearing something another day. And especially we're dealing with our own tragedy here. The family of Tran Vu, respected businessman and philanthropist in this community, they just lost a matriarch in their family who died today after being shot in the head. So there's a whole lot of stuff going on here. And we at least need to know that there's unity of purpose in the information being given to us and being given to reporters and being given to the American people.
You know, Councilman, what more can you tell us? That's new information that we're just now hearing. So one of the victims who was shot during that, we know that Jabbar had gotten out of the car, started shooting. So we're now learning one of those victims passed away today.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Of course, I spent several hours at the emergency room the morning that this tragedy happened with police and with the emergency personnel who've been exemplary in all the emergency units, and especially at University Hospital, caring for those police officers and caring for people who were brought into the emergency room. But the effort the last 24 hours, I think, have been, first of all, what was going to happen with the game? How and when do we postpone it? So now that we know that the game is today, the last 12 or 20 hours have been, how do we hold a successful event? How do we have hard sites that deal with pedestrian and vehicular access? Those were really important meetings that I think our law enforcement officials I think we have an idea now of how people are going to access the dome, access the quarter, whether it's going to be reopened or not, once the FBI clears it as a crime scene. Those are the things that are important, because 4,000 people actually changed their flights to make sure that they could stay here for the game. So people are going to be here. We have to make sure they're safe if they're walking or if they're driving to the dome. So those access points, those hard points of entry that they've been working on, I pray that they work. I know they've been working on them for the last day or so.
You know, and Councilman, speaking of that, we just talked to Brian Enton. He was there outside of the Superdome. He said, people are starting to file in, starting to arrive there to the stadium. From your perspective, should people feel safe there within the city?
Well, what I can say is that our chief of police, our federal partners, and state troopers, there has been a unity of purpose of how do they come up with a plan to make sure that this doesn't happen again and that people can enjoy this event. Now, of course, this is going to be long term. I think attacks like this are going to change how we deal with events and activities throughout this country in cities beyond New Orleans. But yet, what I have seen, there are several hundred, if not 1,000, law enforcement officials that are going to be stationed all around the area. I think they're checking their access points to make sure that people don't have explosives, dangerous weapons. So I feel comfortable. I feel more comfortable. But of course, in today's world, in today's environment, you can't be 100% sure about what evil people are going to do and what their intentions are.
Absolutely. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find News Nation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of News Nation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.